Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. On today's show, what's the Titans signing Brandon Weeden mean for Colin Kaepernick's NFL future? Plus, Joel Klatt explains why it's insulting that Saquon Barkley is the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. And after Tuesday's thrilling comeback win, are the Yankees poised for a deep playoff run? Skip, Shannon, let's get to it. Marcus Mariota is day-to-day after injuring his hamstring during Sunday's loss. He was replaced by Matt Castle, who threw 2 interceptions, including a pick 6. Yesterday, the Titans signed Brandon Weeden, who has not played in a game in nearly 2 years. Pro Football Talk reported the Titans also brought in Matt Barkley, Matt McGloin, and TJ Yates for workouts, but not Colin Kaepernick. Shannon, what's your reaction?
I'm not surprised. Skip, how about let's do this. I'm going to give the Tennessee Titans the benefit of the doubt. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Marcus Mariota is out for 1 to 2 weeks. It would be a waste of their time to bring Colin Kaepernick in as the third quarterback, considering that Matt Castle is on their roster. They should have brought Colin Kaepernick in before, instead of signing Matt Castle to an extension, because wouldn't you say, let me see. I know a guy that's not employed currently that was Marcus Mariota in the NFL before he was. You really wouldn't have to change anything, because here's the narrative that, Skip, if you bring Cap in, you got to have 2 offenses. You know, you got to have one for your starter, that's the drop back quarterback, and then you got to have a special offense suited to his skill set.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say Marcus Mariota and Colin Kaepernick's skill set is very, very similar? More so than Marcus and Matt Castle?
I would say.
So what you should have done is brought Colin Kaepernick in and make him the backup to Mariota, and then bump Castle down to the third guy. Skip, I just don't get it. It's become abundantly clear to me that these owners, while they tell you they care about winning and the NFL is a talent-based business, we know that what Colin Kaepernick did 14 months ago has a lot to do with why he's not signed. And for the mere fact, it still continues to happen. So there are pockets, not as much as it once were, but there are pockets of guys that are still kneeling, they're still sitting, they're still raising their fist. So these owners are constantly reminded of what Colin Kaepernick started 14 months ago and what they're trying to send to him, and all the others that might think somewhere along the line they find a cause deemed worthy of they want to take a knee and raise a fist for. You see what happened to Colin Kaepernick? Now, if you want that to happen to you, you take your butt on out there and you take a knee during the anthem, or you raise your fist, or you take a seat. This is what's going to happen to you. Skip, they said they kicked the tires. They signed Brandon Weeden, so obviously he was one of the guys they kicked the tires. Matt Barkley, Matt McGloin. Skip, they have a combined 56 touchdowns, 67 INTs. Colin Kaepernick has the second best interception rate to pass. Skip, you know who he's behind? He has second. You know who has the number 1? Aaron Rodgers. He has the 5th best touchdown to interception ratio in NFL history. Now, they've been playing football since 1920. Colin Kaepernick has the best touchdown to interception ratio, 5th overall. There are a couple of guys that's currently playing, like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, maybe you've heard of him, and this guy, Derek Carr. But those are some of the guys that he's behind. 5th best. All the quarterbacks that's played, touchdown to interception ratio, Colin Kaepernick. Now, they tell you it's about winning. And they say, well, you don't want that distraction. You know what I hate worse? What do I hate more than distraction, Skip Bayless? Losing. And that's what Brandon Weeden did a lot of, losing. And Matt Castle, I've never seen a guy get more shelf life out of going 11-5 for Coach Belichick some almost 10 years ago as this guy. I've seen guys that win Super Bowls did not get the shelf life that a Matt Castle gets. So if you're trying to convince me that Matt McGloin and Barkley and Case Keenum and Austin Davis and all these guys are better than Colin Kaepernick, save that. Save your breath, because you might need it somewhere along the line, down the line. But there's no way you can convince me that Brandon Weeden is a better NFL quarterback than Colin Kaepernick. Neither is Matt Castle. And so this narrative that, well, you have to run a separate offense, you would have to run the same offense for Marcus Mariota as you did for Colin Kaepernick. And guess what, Skip? Marcus Mariota going to get hurt again. Because what we've seen from his history is that he gets hurt a lot.
He does.
So don't worry about it. You'll travel down this road again, and I hope it doesn't. But his history says he will get hurt again. And then what? Because Mike Mularkey is the head coach. Didn't he coach a guy in Pittsburgh named Cordell Stewart? So he should have some idea of some familiarity of how to deal with these mobile quarterbacks.
This is just wearing me out. What are we up to? Same song, 29th verse? I don't know what we're up to. It just seems like week after week after week.
We're doing the remix version, not Skip.
We're on a remix. So first, the painful irony. May I speak as a Cowboy fan?
Sure.
This is pretty superficial compared to what you just spoke of, but do you realize this is making Cowboy fans revisit the nightmare of 2015 in which Matt Castle and Brandon Weeden attempted to fill in for one Tony Romo in Dallas and went 1-11 in place of and behind that same stud offensive line. They were all there. That was a better offensive line than this year's offensive line. 1-11. Matt Castle beat Kirk Cousins on a Monday night at Washington. That was the one. So here's the painful irony truth to me. And I was on record before the Jameis Mariota draft, and I'm going to take it a step further. Want to know the truth of this story? Colin Kaepernick is better than Marcus Mariota. He just is. I can just show you the numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Mariota fan. I'm not just 20/20 hindsight. I said it before the draft. He doesn't have a great feel for playing quarterback. He'll take off when he probably shouldn't. He's in that no man's land sometimes of, oh, I got to try this, and he makes big mistakes. He makes tumultuous turnovers that get returned for touchdowns. He's been a little better than I thought he would be as a pro quarterback, but he's 13-18 as a starter. His QBR was 21st the first year. Improved quite a bit to 12th and then 12th again this year. This is his third year, obviously, but Colin Kaepernick's just better than Marcus Mariota. So let's start there. Then let's go to Matt Castle. He did make a Pro Bowl at Kansas City after he won 11-5, missed the playoffs in New England. But it's just laughable to me that I'd forgotten he was the backup because who knew? And that's glaring that Matt Castle is the second-string quarterback. And then we get to your first point, which is it's way beneath the dignity of Colin Kaepernick to even suggest that he should want to be the short-term third-string quarterback behind Matt Castle and Marcus Mariota at Tennessee. Seriously? That's just painful to me to even think of the concept of that. But it has come to this. So now we get to the biggest question, and that is, is it just over for Colin Kaepernick? And I've thought, since we're now 4 games into the season, I'm pretty sure it's over. I think this league has quietly rejected the whole notion of Colin Kaepernick.
Bruh.
Pretty clear, right?
Yes.
Because we just keep doing these, and I got to knock on wood for all those quarterbacks, but somebody else will get hurt. You know it, and I know it. It just, history tells you they will. And then we'll do it again the next day. But why didn't they call Colin Kaepernick? I think nobody's going to call Colin Kaepernick.
And what has everyone been saying? As soon as there's an injury,
Yep.
Colin Kaepernick will get a call.
No.
Well, we've had guys tear the ACLs. We've had guys that's going to be out for the entire season.
Yep.
And yet, we get a guy, we talk about it, and we ask the fans, what do they think about this? And we ask a few people, and boom.
And don't underestimate what a threat he is, even beyond the activism, the protests, but just because he's really good. He's a good player. He's proven over time to be very good. I know he's been beat up and had a rough run the last couple of years in San Francisco, but they were bad, and he sort of rose above them, especially last year. I thought he played 3 or 4 big-time games.
Also.
But you have to be careful now because I think that's why he didn't get the backup job at Seattle. He's too good for his own good. He was going to be a threat to Russell Wilson. And in this case, trust me, if you cut Matt Castle and brought in Colin Kaepernick to be the obvious backup because he runs the same style of offense as Mariota, he would, if he got a shot, he would become a threat to Marcus Mariota. And they don't want that in that franchise. They bet on him. They bet their future on him. They picked him high. They're going to stick with him. They love him. He's a great young man. Blah blah blah. You've heard all, and he is a good. He's a good guy. And Malarkey and the coaches just love him, and I get all that. But now it brings us back to the question of why didn't Colin get a job this year? Obviously, he's not just one of the protesters. You said you're trying to teach these other protesters a lesson, but they're not risking their jobs. No. Anybody who takes a knee now is not risking their job. He was the trailblazer.
Yeah, he's the face.
He was the tone setter. He was the guy.
Yeah.
He went down in history as the guy who broke through. Mm-hmm. He was on the cover of Time magazine. So I'm going to ask this question again because a guy you know very well, close friend of mine, John Wooten, Fritz Pollard Alliance, head of the Fritz Pollard Alliance that oversees the Rooney Rule for the National Football League, continues to ask me and others in the media, why didn't Colin speak up? Sometime in training camp, maybe week 1 this year, why didn't he make a public statement? Because I've tried to scour the internet. I'm pretty sure the last time Colin spoke publicly was after his final game that he played last year on January 1st for the San Francisco 49ers. He played pretty well in that game. They lost barely 25-23 to Seattle. Numbers were pretty good in that game. He went 17-22 for 215, ran 5 times for 16 yards, but they hung right in. It was a close game to the end. So that was it. That was the end of Colin Kaepernick as we knew him as an NFL quarterback. It's a long time ago.
Yes.
And he spoke briefly after that game, just about the game, and I'm pretty sure, even though he released a statement, I'm losing track of when it was, 3 months ago maybe, that I will stand for the anthem this year.
Correct.
But he has not spoken publicly. So I ask you, do you think that would have helped? See, John thinks that you gave the NFL an excuse because all John hears when he makes calls to teams, what's wrong with Colin Kaepernick? He continues to hear from front office people all around the league, well, we're not sure he wants to play anymore. Is he now a full-time activist, or what's going on with him because he doesn't speak up anymore?
No, Colin gave him an excuse when he took that knee during the anthem. That was the excuse that they needed.
Okay, but do you think, in all objectivity, would it have helped him to speak? Just do a media session. Come on, come all. I'll tell you exactly where I am, that I want to, whatever, I don't know what he has to say, but that he's ready to play football.
No, I don't, Skip, because then I would be under the impression that had he spoke, that changes his ability to play quarterback. And the fact of the matter is, these guys didn't speak, and they still can't play.
Yep.
So him speaking wasn't going to change that. But if you look at Colin Kaepernick, let's just say for the sake of our Tennessee Titans, Colin Kaepernick when he was at the 49ers, this team is built very similar. Running game, DeMarco Murray, Derrick Henry. They had Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter. They had a big dominant.
Right, but don't leave this.
Yeah.
So you don't think he should have spoken at all?
No.
Because I think you told me that you heard back from maybe in his camp that he felt like he shouldn't have to
beg,
to sort of crawl and beg for a job because all the others didn't.
Right.
But remember, in fairness, none of those other backup quarterbacks were the face of a movement. So
that confirms. So you just said it. You confirmed what we know all along.
Yeah.
Because he was the face of the movement, they're holding that against him. So whether he spoke or not, him speaking didn't change what he did. Him speaking is not going to make the owners and the fans and the people that look down upon
I just hate it because it did give them an excuse. They were looking for any excuse, and maybe they would have found another excuse.
Right.
But I don't like it, and John has been doing this, John Wooten, for a long, long time. He's gotten a lot of African-American coaching and front office candidates jobs around this league, so he knows how the quote-unquote game is played.
Right.
And he just believes with all his heart and soul, he's been campaigning for this, Colin needed to speak over the last couple of weeks even, that he felt like it would have opened a door, maybe reopened a door.
For me, Skip, if that was what he chose to do, I have no problem with it, because at the end of the day, if he speaks and he's speaking only to get him a job, it's going to come off as superficial, because that's not in his heart. Because I've talked to people that have talked to him that are in front offices, and they believe that they no doubt believe that he wants to play.
Yep.
And they believe no doubt. But a lot of teams like...
And by the way, he spoke to the people in Seattle, and I think he went to Baltimore. Didn't he go and talk to them? So at least those two front offices heard it from his lips,
yes.
Right?
And they felt very comfortable with where he was as far as him wanting to play, him doing the things necessary as far as training in the offseason. And but at the end of the day, no matter what a head coach, no matter what a general manager wants, this signing is going up the flagpole. This is an owner's decision. I believe there's only one head coach that can make this happen, and then he might get pushed back, and that's Coach Belichick. Now, and we know how Mr. Kraft feels about that anthem. We know how he feels about this president. So even he might have to run this by Mr. Kraft.
Yep.
But all the other coaches, there's not another coach, and I know some have total control. They're not making this decision on Cap without the owner's blessing. And the owner's more times than not is going to shoot this down. Skip, you go back.
Okay, so are we sure? Are you sure? I shouldn't say we. You. Are you sure Colin 1,000% wants to play football?
Yes.
That he doesn't want to just become that martyr who was the face of the movement?
No.
Because he could have more impact not playing football.
Well, if it's a lie, he told it. He's told me on several occasions that he wants to play. He says, I'm training. He says, well, how about somebody bring me in and talk to me?
Yep.
And I'm not talking about over the phone. I'm saying if you want to see what I look like, bring me in. But there's only really two teams. The Ravens talked to him. Seattle brought him in. Now, I don't really know how in-depth Seattle got. Don't know if there are a whole lot of X's and O's that were being discussed, but they did bring him in. I can say they're one of the 32 that brought him in, and the Ravens are the other teams that's talked to him. Now, to my knowledge, no other team has talked to Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
But I haven't talked to him in maybe a month. But the last I talked to him, asked him how was he doing. He said he's fine. He said he's training every day. He just wants an opportunity. But you and I both felt the closer and closer it got to the season, the less and less likely it was going to happen.
Okay, so I had this discussion which turned into a debate with our friend Rob Parker the other night, and we were going back and forth. If somebody had signed Colin before week one, and he had simply been a backup quarterback on a roster, would that have ended the protests? Rob was kind of leaning toward, yeah, I think that would have done it, that people would have just backed off and said, okay, that got achieved, that there was an accomplishment.
Maybe some, Skip, but at the end of the day, there's still issues going on which led these guys to start to protest in the beginning. So it would make the players feel as if, like, you know what, you're not using that against him because you did give him a job. You know what he did. There are pockets of guys around the National Football League that are still protesting, but you did give him a job, so you're not holding that against him.
But then the monkey wrench would have come, and this is now 20/20 hindsight, hypothetical, but let's say Colin had been on a roster as a backup. Would our president then have taken that shot in the speech at Huntsville? I don't know.
But
maybe.
You remember he took a shot earlier.
Yeah.
Talk about, about the owners not wanting to get that nasty text from him, that nasty, tweet from him about signing this guy. And he mentioned it at a rally, said, hey, it was reported that owners don't want to get a nasty tweet from me. Would he have said, this president's going to say what he's going to say, Skip? It's because he's his own man, and no matter who you put around him, you can put 4-star generals, 10-star generals. He's his own person. He sees no harm or no foul in what he says or does. And when you got so many that will back him up, now he's in Puerto Rico yesterday throwing out rolls of paper towel. It's almost like he doesn't have the connection, the empathy to say, you know what, these people are going through something, and you're throwing out rolls of paper towel. And then you say, well, you should feel fortunate. You didn't have a catastrophe like Katrina. Really, Skip? After what they went through, 100% of the people without power. Now it's like the 97, 98.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've established he doesn't have a whole lot of self-awareness, but I would have liked to hear Colin speak, not necessarily about the NFL, but just in general, just about the movement, because what he did was public.
Yes.
So speaking publicly, I think would, if nothing else, just clear things up for people who are wondering what he's thinking, because we always feel like we're hearing things from someone else about there's always a middleman with Colin. But I agree with you. I don't think that would have changed his standing in the NFL.
Now. The NFL blackballing me, or whiteballing me because of what I did. It has nothing to do with ability. Because if
no, you can't make that. No. You can't make that argument anymore.
Brandon Weeden?
No, you can't make that argument anymore.
No mercy.
We're joined now by FS1 NFL analyst Ray Lewis. Ray, welcome back.
Absolutely.
Welcome back. Good morning,
Absolutely.
Mr. Lewis.
Good morning.
So a week ago here on Undisputed, Shannon Sharpe spoke his heart about the brother-brother relationship he has had for many years with you, Ray Lewis. Shannon had called you out here on Undisputed, then on your Showtime show, you had spoken about how a friend had called you out. You two finally spoke by phone. You sorted it out. So give us just briefly your thoughts on how it all came to a conclusion.
Yeah, Skip, Shannon and I have been friends for 21 years.
And you went through a lot, man.
And we have said way too much on camera.
Okay.
We talked off camera. And what we said, it was enough. It was enough. 21 years of friendship, yeah, it was enough.
So was it easy to agree to disagree?
Once again, I don't think it's about about being easy or anything. I think it's about two brothers having a conversation. Yeah, simple. That's what I said. I think enough was said on camera. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Onward and upward.
Fair enough.
You're good.
Yeah, we talked, and like I told him, I said, 21 years, and I said, I know it was tough because those closest to you, when they offer the harshest critique, that stings the most. I say, but we were friends before this issue even came up. We're gonna be friends through this. We're gonna be great friends after this. That's always gonna be the case. He literally is like a brother to me. He's one of the few guys that can call me and say, Shay, I need something. It's not what you need, when. I'm there. He knows that. And that's always going to be the case. He's like a little brother to me. I always had a big brother. He never had a big brother.
Yep.
I'm his big brother. And that's how I treat him, and that's how we treat each other.
Well, all I know is Ray Lewis is sitting right there next to you, and we're good.
Yes.
Well, we're good. Let's talk about the Steelers then. Early in the second quarter of the Steelers' win on Sunday, Ben Roethlisberger missed a wide-open Antonio Brown and threw an incompletion to Le'Veon Bell instead. After the Steelers were forced to punt, Brown made his frustration known. He knocked over a Gatorade bucket and then got into it with offensive coordinator Todd Haley. After the game, Brown said, when the play doesn't go your way, you, quote, get a little frustrated. Yesterday, Roethlisberger talked about Brown's behavior. Let's take a listen.
He got upset because he was open, which I can understand. Sometimes that happens. I was disappointed because it's not like I intentionally missed him. It's not like I intentionally didn't throw it to him. I was doing what my reads tell me to do. I don't even want to say I made a mistake because I was reading the side I was supposed to read. It just is unfortunate that it happened, and it's unfortunate that he acted and reacted that way. I told him on the sideline, maybe just come talk to me. Ask me what happened. Tell me that you were open. That goes a lot further than throwing a temper tantrum. AB is the best receiver in the world, maybe one of the best to ever play the game. I'm not trying to call AB out, but I just think that, this is causing a distraction that none of us really need.
Ray, do you like what Ben said?
I think the game, what Ben is saying is the game is emotional enough. It's enough going on. The last thing we need to do is create anything else that takes away from what we're trying to do, and that is get a W on any game day. And I think when you listen to him, he's referring to the relationship that they have. They have a private relationship that they probably called each other immediately and squashed whatever it was to be squashed. But I think when you start to hear what he's saying, he's just saying, look, I know what you're saying. I'm trying to go through my reads, but it just did not go out that way. Things do change. I never forget playing, and I used to always tell the defensive ends on why it was so necessary to stay outside, because if I was coming in the B gap, if you did any type of move in the B gap, it would close up. B gap mean A, B gap, and I'm saying, don't jump in there, because if you jump in there, it's going to just destroy everything that I'm trying to do. And every time these guys would do it, and I would lose my mind going to the sideline, just lose my mind. Like, you gotta do that. And it's the same reaction. But immediately, it's already over. It's already over between them because they know this is next week up, this next play up. And so I don't think nothing was wrong with actually what he was saying. He was just actually everybody's expressing their frustrations about him not finding Antonio in that play.
When you got mad at the DNs, did you ever go throw something on the sideline?
Crazy enough, I have.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Which was what?
You know what? I tell you, one of the stories that really brings me back to this was we was playing the Jets, and Mike Nolan and Mike Singletary. Mike Nolan was the defensive coordinator, and Mike Singletary was my linebacker coach. And it was really interesting because on the field, I knew that they was about to run the ball, but we were in a pass defense, and they run the ball and they get 7-8 yards and I get hit in my mouth and I'm mad and I'm just going crazy and I'm on the field. And I get to the sideline and I'm losing my mind. I'm throwing stuff and Mike Singletary says, come here, what are you doing? He was like, you can't do this. Not here.
What did you throw? A towel or
I don't know. Skip, I really don't remember. I really don't. I just knew I was so frustrated. I mean, it's caught on tape, the perfect moment to where he taught me what leadership was. Because sometimes everybody won't be able to deal with your voice the way that you actually show it on game day.
Okay, but that was Mike Singletary telling you that.
That's,
Okay?
I think from being
Wasn't Todd Haley, you know, right?
Well, I think he was frustrated. It wasn't Todd Haley he was frustrated with. I think it was Ben Roethlisberger he was frustrated with. Yeah, so.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I never ask more than I'm willing to give. I never cursed a coach in all my years because I expected that in return, because Mayor Porter didn't raise no SOBs. Mayor Porter didn't raise no mofos. So I wasn't going to call you out your name. Don't call me out of mine. I'm not going to throw it. I get it. Skip, when you practice a play, and it's like, if they get this defense, we going to get the play that I always give Tony a hard time. Skip, we ran that play. I think we called that play twice the whole week of practice. And I'm saying to myself, I'm going into the game. We ain't going to run this play. Because I'm wide open. I'm running wide open down the middle. We're not gonna, ain't no way they're going to call this. They're not going to play this defense. And lo and behold, they did. But then they called a play, worked on it like 5 times against Detroit. On this area of the field, you backed up. We come out in this formation. They're 100% cover 2. I'm saying to myself, I'm going to hit my head on the goalpost, 90 yards. Woo! I'm going to pick them up and put them down. Call the play. Jake Plummer check the ball down in the flat. Boy, Skip.
See, he wouldn't call that John Elway like
Woo!
Jake Plummer, fair game.
No. But see, the thing is with John didn't like you to show him up.
I know.
And I get it. Because I didn't want you showing me up. Because don't you be coming over there talking about I ran the wrong route and you throwing stuff, because you and I going to have a problem. Skip, everybody's competitive. Everybody wants to win. But what I'm starting to see, guys think winning and competitiveness is mutually exclusive to them. Everybody in the NFL is competitive. That's how they got there. Everybody wants to win. Antonio, Ray, the thing is, Antonio Brown has caught 481 balls over the last 4 years, more over a 4-year span than any receiver in the 98-year history. And Ben misses you 1 time. I guarantee you, Ben throws the ball to Antonio Brown sometimes when he shouldn't.
Sure.
You catch that many balls, they're force-feeding you. I can assure you of that.
Yep.
Because I've caught a lot of balls, and there have been times that John maybe shouldn't have thrown it to me. But he had that kind of confidence in me, he was going to give me an opportunity to make the play. And he misses it 1 time, and this is the way he acts. And then when the coach trying to calm you down and tell him, I'm glad that in my era, like you said, Skip, there's really no social media, and guys weren't worried about building a brand. The only thing guys were really concerned about was the brand of football they were playing. Because I would have had a problem with this. I really would.
Which is why, let's do hypothetical 2000 Ravens, you, and let's say Antonio Brown is your wideout, and he throws this tantrum and throws the cooler onto the field. I promise you, before you left the stadium that night, if it was a home game, you would have pulled him aside and had a little conversation about.
Before we go back at the next series.
Maybe in the next series, maybe, but definitely after everything had subsided, you would have a conversation and you would have a conversation and it would end it. But if I bring the current Antonio with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook into your context of 2000, I think he'd laugh at you. I do, because he's his own brand now, and he just got his money. He got, 4 years, $68 million, after he pulled that Facebook Live stunt in the locker room of the playoff win at Kansas City, when he put his coach on live Facebook as he was delivering his post-game remarks, which is violating, obviously, the sanctity of the locker room.
Correct.
And nobody chastised him for that. He didn't get punished for that. They went right on to Foxborough and lost the AFC Championship game, and then he got his money. What do you think he thinks? He's empowered, man. He can do whatever he wants to do. He was basically calling out or acting out against his quarterback, because that's putting Ben on the spot. And it was very interesting. Ben didn't have any problem right after the game when he just shrugged it off, said, oh, he's a competitor. And then after Mike Tomlin didn't call out Antonio, then Ben slept on it for a night, and on his radio gig in Pittsburgh, he said, I'm not calling out AB. He called him out.
Yeah.
And again, that could have been a private conversation, like you guys were talking about. You had your differences, and you said, we've done enough on camera. Maybe Ben should have done this privately, but I think he was so stung by it that he felt like he had to fight fire with fire. He got shown up and called out on TV after he saw the highlight, right?
With any situation, you got to be careful how you reward negative behavior. When guys act like Antonio Brown, and when you do things and you reward them with big contracts, or when he see the first time, that's not the first time. This might have been the first time that we captured it on camera. But the first time a guy acts out, you come to him and say, "Bro, this is not how we're gonna do things here," and you nip that in the bud.
Okay, but I don't know if you can nip this guy.
No, not too nothing. It's too late. He done got too big now. You can't train a dog to unbite. I mean, this is because you rewarded him. Why? 136 passes, 129 passes, 124 passes. You gave him 4 years, $68 million. So what's the drawback for him acting like this? I'm gonna get 11 targets a game. I'm gonna get my money. I'm gonna end the season with more catches than anybody. So what's the punishment? What's the deterrent for me doing this? At some point in time, just be a professional. You play a dependent position, and everybody wants to catch the football. Everybody wants competitive. You can't make it. Sure, you know this. You don't get to this level without being competitive. You weren't the last guy getting picked. You were always the guy. Pop Warner, JV, high school, college, you were the guy. There are very few guys that make it to this level that at some point in time, at some level, they weren't the guy.
Yep. But the point is, this is no longer Ray Lewis's and Shannon Sharpe's NFL. This is a new age, man.
Yeah, it is.
New day. I don't think you could counsel him. I don't think you could get through to him now the way you could have in 2000.
Well, you got to get to him when they're young, when they come in as rookie. See, rookies are more apt to listen to the vets, but like Odell, when Odell had the success that he had so early with the catch, and they're losing, and he's still getting praise heaped on him, well, he says, well, I don't need to win. I don't need you guys to be who I am.
That's right.
Well, Antonio Brown is catching all these passes. They're winning, but he's like, hold on. I'm going to catch 11, 12 passes a game. I'm going to get all pro, and I'm going to get all this notoriety, and Facebook going to pay me money to put stuff on this.
Yep.
There's no deterrent for me to act in the way I act.
And I promise you, Odell Beckham Jr. still wants to be the highest paid player in the whole National Football League, and they're 0-4. And he's still got his clothing line and his brand, right?
Yeah, well, you keep buying them skinny jeans, so, I mean, he's going to keep his clothing.
I do.
brand.
I buy his stuff, man. I can't help myself.
You wearing skinny jeans for what? For why?
The point is, you don't have to necessarily be a winner or Super Bowl winner or that level to
be professional.
To have a huge brand anymore, like you just said.
Oh yeah, no. That you don't need that.
Giants are in 4. That hasn't affected Odell at all.
What's on all these networks? Reality TV. And what are they doing? Acting a fool. That sells.
No mercy. In the latest Heisman odds, Bovada has Penn State running back Saquon Barkley as the favorite. Barkley has been responsible for 8 touchdowns this season, including a kick return and a passing touchdown on Saturday. Baker Mayfield is right behind Barkley. We're joined by college football analyst Joel Klatt. Welcome, Joel. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
So you're going to Baker Mayfield Stadium this coming Saturday?
No, I'll be in,
He owns it.
He owns it. I see what you did there. I'm going to Ohio State. That's right. We'll have Oklahoma on earlier on Fox. Good call. I like what you did there.
Joel, should Barkley be the Heisman favorite?
No. And unfortunately for him, it forces me to take a position in essentially explaining why he shouldn't, when I just want to celebrate the fact that he's a great back. But because of the hype that surrounds him, you have to have the conversation, okay? Saquon Barkley right now is a phenomenal player. He's a great back. He's probably the #1 running back when you look projected to the National Football League. But he's not the best college running back, much less player, that we have in college football this season. Okay, Saquon Barkley is not in the top 10 in the nation in rushing. He's not in the top 35 in yards per rush, and he's not in the top 50 in touchdowns. That's not Heisman worthy. I'm sorry. You can't run for 2.8 yards per carry against Indiana, who gave up 6 yards per carry to J.K. Dobbins, 6 yards per carry to L.A. Ramsby. That's right, he good plays for Georgia Southern. Go check that one out. The best running back in the country so far has been Bryce Love.
It has.
Bryce Love has run for 1,088 yards in 5 games. This guy leads the country in yards per game by over 100 from Barkley, 217 per game, 11 yards per rush. So we get caught up in this moment. We're prisoners of the moment of he hurdled a guy against Iowa and he had the kick return and a touchdown pass. The Heisman favorite right now should be Baker Mayfield. He leads the country in yards per attempt, yards per completion, completion percentage of any quarterback that's played 4 or more games, touchdown to interception ratio, 13-0. Efficiency rating, 228. There's not another quarterback in the 200s. I'm giving you a lot of numbers to say. Baker Mayfield has been the best player in college football. I hate taking that stance because Barkley's wonderful, but like I said, it's not even close. And the fact that he's the favorite from Bovada, to me, is it's kind of insulting right now. You got to watch the whole picture in college football because Barkley hasn't even been the best running back in the country.
I got to shake his hand.
Thank
you for that opinion.
Okay, you got it.
First time I've ever agreed with
Well,
you.
I
know this. I thought something else was
my
happening
list,
there.
I don't even know why I'm going to talk about my list because that's the exact same thing.
Really?
Yeah, the dude, he's Barkley, second in the nation behind Bryson Love. The dude just rushed for 301 yards, went for 263 against UCLA. As you mentioned, Joel, 1,088 yards in 5 games. And we talk about a guy because he ran a kick return and he threw a touchdown pass. Now if he rushes for 200 against Michigan, he rushes for 200 against Ohio State.
Maybe.
Let's come back and revisit this
right.
conversation. But I agree with everything you said about Baker Mayfield. To go to the big house, the horseshoe, and do what he did, put the flag down. 384.
384.
That's what he's done. He has 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Playing on the number 2 team, number 3 team in the country. That's enough for me. I know Saquon Barkley and what he did in the Rose Bowl. He had some big games early, but not now, Skip. Not now. But hold on. Don't count that old kid down in Louisville. Don't count him out just yet because he's going to put a couple more 400 total-yard games on you, too.
Yeah. Do you mind if I sing Boomer Sooner? Just break it out.
Whatever
Now
you like.
now that Stoops is no longer the coach, you're like all on board, aren't you?
Well, I'm on board with this quarterback.
You're going to jinx him, Skip.
And the new coach is pretty good because he actually got them up for a big road national TV game.
Yeah.
Like the old coach couldn't. And they actually went to Ohio State and won the game because the quarterback went 27 of 35 for, as Shannon points out, 384, 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's the signature game of this college football season.
You're right.
Period. End of story. I know what Saquon did at Iowa was monster game. These numbers are just like staggering. What did he go? 211 on 28 carries. He also caught 12 balls for 94 more yards. And I know he ran the kickoff back against Indiana. Give him that. But when you go 20 carries against Indiana for a total of 56 yards, as you point out, 2.8. And all I heard on Saturday, and I'm a college football nut, but I'm hearing all the commentators, the bloggers, I'm bombarded everywhere I turn with, it's over. He won the Heisman. When he ran the kickoff back, it was like, because today's media, everybody stumbles all over each other to proclaim a winner in week 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like rush to judgment on who won the Heisman. And Saquon has won the Heisman, and then I was shocked that the odds went all the way to him. Maybe it's because people are betting that direction, but it's a runaway train, man. And sometimes he is a runaway train, except against Iowa's porous run defense. He wasn't a runaway train. And when I look at Baker Mayfield, he leads the nation in QBR. And look at his touchdown passes. He went 3 in the first game, 3 in the second game, 4 and 3. So each game he's thrown at least 3 touchdowns with no interceptions.
Right.
That's pretty great.
Yeah.
He's got a long way to go. He's got some big games he's got to come up big in.
Let me add just some depth to the Heisman conversation. I think that the Heisman takes 3 things, okay? And I'm a Heisman voter. This is what I look at, and this is what most Heisman voters look at. Numbers, moments, and circumstances. Okay, that's how votes are cast. Well, Mayfield has the numbers. Like we've all talked about it, leading the country in several different categories. Moments, you just spoke to it. Mayfield has the quintessential moment so far of this college football season with that win at Ohio State. Now let's get to circumstances. This guy lost a 1,500-yard receiver, 2 1,000-yard backs, and the coach that had the most wins in his school's history in Bob Stoops, and that's a pretty good history with Bud Wilkinson and Barry Switzer.
Go ahead. Yeah. That was,
You know,
that
I
was a
mean, think of
benefit.
those circumstances.
That was
Look
an
at him.
advantage.
He can't.
Skip, stop trying to.
It was.
He
I'm
can't
telling you the
stop
truth.
himself. He
It was
can't
the
stop
greatest thing
himself.
that ever happened to the program.
Oh,
He's
my
been really
goodness.
Did
good.
he win you a national
He
championship?
won. It was a long time. It was like 1999.
Did it happen?
Yeah, he was a prohibitive underdog against Florida State, which did not take him seriously, and he broke through in his second year of head coaching. That's it.
Stop
Period. End of
minimizing
story.
the
Do you know
man.
how many disasters?
We're
they had?
agreeing. You don't get me upset right now talking about Bob Stoops this way. Bob Stoops
sorry.
has been.
I like him. He's a good guy.
I'm just
I really-
saying that those three things, the circumstances surrounding Baker Mayfield, all of it suggests that this guy is the one that should be getting hype. It's groupthink with all the bloggers and everything that goes on. It's no one wants to stand out, with an opinion. So one person says Saquon Barkley and everyone kind of runs the flag. It's like the people that cover college football at this point are kind of like 6-year-old soccer teams, when the ball goes over here and they run over here and then they go over here and then they run over here.
True.
So
That's
the
what
next guy
happens.
that has a monster game, they're going to be proclaiming the Heisman Trophy.
Okay, and
for that
speaking
guy
of
as well.
monster games, is it possible that Bryce Love gets in the middle of this? Because every time I look up, he's beyond Christian McCaffrey
Yeah.
things,
Yes.
right? And I know you guys both love Christian
Yeah. Yes.
McCaffrey, but this is beyond that. I'm saying, could he, again, their team is not going to be good enough to sort of justify his candidacy.
We'll see, because he's going to have moments. Now, they'll have Washington left on the schedule. They've got some games left on the schedule. There's a chance that they could get to the Pac-12 championship. It's so difficult from the Stanford perspective. Think of all the guys that have finished second ever since Harbaugh got there in 07. You've got Toby Gerhardt finished second. Andrew Luck finished second. Now we've got Christian McCaffrey finished second in the Heisman Trophy voting. Unless you go to USC, it's almost impossible to win the Heisman Trophy
Because
from
not
the
enough
West
people
Coast.
see your games.
That's right.
Unless you have a year like Mariota.
That's right. Mariota, guy like Jim Plunkett, you got to go back to that. Gary Beeman at Oregon State. Other than that, it's all,
Yeah, USC, Hollywood.
does.
Everybody knows USC tradition. The quarterbacks, glamour. But like I said, if you have a year like Mariota where you throw for 4,000 yards and you rush for another 1,000 and you got 40 touchdowns in your national championship hunt, you're going to get a chance. But, yeah, I like Barkley, and he's played well, but he hadn't had a better year than thus far.
And I
than Baker
still love
Mayfield.
Sam Darnold projecting to the National Football League, but he had a rough night up there in Washington.
the group think it does the same thing when you talk about like hype for guys. It also does the thing. So now all of them that are running over here like, oh, Darnold's terrible.
He's terrible. He's not terrible.
Relax. He had a couple of bad games. You force the ball down the field. Relax.
You don't enjoy 6-year-old soccer games?
I've got to watch a lot of. My 5-year-old plays soccer now. So he scored a goal last week. That's a big deal.
But Darnold is not playing better than Baker Mayfield. Now, he might
No.
project better than
No,
Baker
you're
right.
Mayfield,
He
but
does.
he's not playing better.
That's
No.
right.
Are you the guy that has to bring the oranges and the juice boxes?
I miss them because they're always on Saturdays. So I'm just the one. My wife Sarah holds up the phone, and I just watch on FaceTime from my hotel room. So I'll be in Columbus watching on FaceTime.
Well,
this Saturday
congrats to
morning.
the little guy. Be sure to check out Joel Klatt with Gus Johnson, Maryland, and Ohio State Saturday on Fox. Joel, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
No mercy.
The Yankees advanced to the ALDS with an 8-4 win over the Twins last night. They got 3 big home runs from Didi Gregorius, Brett Gardner, and Aaron Judge. And the bullpen was terrific. After the game, Joe Girardi and Judge talked about his postseason debut.
It was extraordinary. They were electric from the first pitch on, and even when we got down early, they were still behind us. Still on their feet, still going crazy, and we just really fed off them tonight.
When I look at Aaron, there's a smile on his face a lot, and there's just something about him, the way he carries himself, that you just feel really good when he's around. When he's at the plate, whether he's playing defense, whether he's standing next to you, waiting for you to come off the field, you just feel really good when he's around.
We're joined by Fox baseball analyst Nick Swisher.
Good morning, everybody.
Welcome back.
It's a very good morning for
Playoff
you.
baseball. You're fired up this morning.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just live up here.
How impressive was the Yankee comeback?
That was
last
so amazing. I'm watching it just like a fan, as y'all are right here. To go down 3-0 in a playoff game, that's like 15 runs in the regular season.
is.
Yes.
So I think for the Yankees to show that pride that they had, and even Gardy talked about it after the game. Hey, we knew if we got done early, we couldn't get phased. We knew we had to stick to our plan. And not only that, for Chad Green to come in the first inning and stop the bleeding where it was, thought that was a great call by Girardi bringing him in. Dave Robertson comes in, pitches 3 innings, first time he's done that in a gazillion years, and just homers all over the place. That place was electric. I know what that feels like, and you want to be there. You want to be there to feel that energy. Unbelievable win moving forward for them as well.
I think the biggest decision was Joe Girardi taking Severino out.
Yes, sir.
He just flat out yanked
He
him,
is like,
man.
I'm done. I've seen enough.
Yeah.
And I guess that's from managing enough. You know the guy just doesn't have it. And let's stop the
Yep.
bleeding. Let's try and stop the bleeding if we can. And as you mentioned, the guy came in and saved the day.
And by the way, this is sudden death, man.
Yeah.
You played 162 games, and this is
One
it.
day.
That's the
You're
thing.
done.
All hands are on deck.
Yeah.
You have that option to
Yeah.
do that. That's not like a regular season game.
And it made it seem like, okay, it's the wild card. Like they're going to play the best of 5 or the best of 3.
Nah, man.
No. One game,
One
winner
time.
take all.
This is it.
And that was huge. Aaron Judge, I mean, those guys, Didi Gregorius, that was huge. They needed that. But I don't think they could have 3-0 and then they come back in the fashion that they did. But they get to the 5th inning, Skip, and they're still down 3. Now that doubt might start to creep in.
Agreed.
But they got that momentum, and then when Judge hit that home run, I mean, I felt like I was at the stadium. Because you could crack. I'm like, dude,
Heard it.
what are you swinging?
Well, I think also on top of that, too, Judge is a pretty even keel type of guy.
Yes.
For him to be coming around first base,
saw it.
he
He
was
was
pumped up, excited. I mean, that's what we need. Baseball needs games
That was
like
the
this.
most personality he has ever
Big
shown
time.
publicly.
I'm telling you. I mean, he has captured.
You played with him at Columbus, right?
Right there in good old Scranton, PA.
Scranton. It was yeah, for a year or so?
Yeah, so to be able to be around him and to see the progression of
Yeah.
him turning into maybe the face of our game
Yeah.
moving forward.
He
Hey,
is.
I mean, he's the guy we need there.
Skip, before you go, did you see that from him, that kind of power in Scranton? Did you think he could be what he is?
Well, the whole thing, you got to remember, man, he's made a lot of adjustments from the time I saw him till now.
Okay.
I mean, I think he has grown up. He's matured a lot. I think he understands the emotional roller coaster that he can go on.
Right.
But I'm telling you, man, he's always had that light tower power.
Okay.
It's always been there. But for him to have the confidence moving forward, guys, he never dominated in a minor league like he has in the big leagues, ever. So that's just a credit to him and just his game and what he's trying to do. He's dove into the process of getting better, and now you're seeing it pay off.
Yep. Usually when I'm talking about Yankees past, I'm talking about firepower and extraordinary talent, and they just will out because they're the Yankees.
Yeah, right.
This was different. This was guts,
Yes.
character, mental toughness, because I thought they were cooked, and I thought some people's ratings might be cooked going forward, right? And for Chad Green to come in, it's second and third with 1 out, and you're down 3-0, and I'm thinking it's going to be 4. If it gets to 5,
And Byron Buxton's up, who's
Yeah.
been crushing as of late.
right, and Castro's next, and I'm thinking if this gets to 5, it's over.
Yes.
Even though you'd get 9 more at bats, it would just feel like 50, like you said.
right.
And he goes strikeout, strikeout. Wow. And all of a sudden it started to feel a little different. And then I got to give Aaron Judge this. His first at bat was extraordinary. I was more impressed with his first at bat than that at bat that you talk about, because your team is scuffling a little bit. Gardy walks to start the game. So he's on first, and then Sanchez fouls out to the catcher. So now here comes Aaron Judge. Was he? Yeah, he was batting second. Anyway, so he gets, it's 3-2, and there's a pitch on the corner that looks like it's going to be a strike. And you want to talk about a professional at bat, something that he couldn't have done in Scranton.
Well, Skip,
he just reaches out and defends home plate and gets enough barrel on the ball to just bloop it into center field, and it keeps it alive for Didi to come up and go Derek Jeter.
Yeah, which
right?
was amazing.
Right?
He won that at bat on the 1-2 pitch.
Yeah.
Santana threw him his best slider down and away, which Judge struggles on, and he spit on it.
Yep.
And I looked at my buddy Benji, who I was
it
watching
was
the game with,
impressive.
and I said, bro, he's on. He's locked. He's feeling good. And, Sanchez pops out with runners on first and third. You're thinking, man, we really need to at least get one run right now. And Didi comes up, man, a man who has not got enough credit for what he's done over there.
Because when that ball hit the stands for yours, then I said, even though it's 3-3, I said, it's over. They're going to win this game.
The shift in momentum was crucial. You felt it. You saw it. I mean, it was just there.
But let me ask you this. They got great pitching, and we mentioned the guys that came in, Robertson and Greenwood came in. What about Batanz? What's going on with him?
Oh, well, I mean, hey, he's going to be there. No doubt. For them to continue to do what they're doing right now, they need that man to be in there. I know he's struggled of late, but hey, when you throw 100 miles an hour and sometimes your mechanics come out and you start flying a little bit, maybe you just kind of got to get back to the drawing board a little bit. He'll tighten things up and he'll be there when they need him.
So you shot your bullpen, obviously, the way you rarely shoot your bullpen in a game. 13 strikeouts from the bullpen, tied a postseason record just because they pitch so long.
Yeah.
but your ace just sort of went down in early flames, so you kind of shot him for a couple of games against Cleveland.
Of course.
And yet, I still feel like they have the momentum going into the Cleveland.
Wow, that's
It's a best of
interesting you say
5.
that, man. You're going up. Hey, that's a big, tall tale, man. You're going up against the Cleveland Indians, who, in my opinion, most talented, hottest team in baseball right now. The only thing it could be a little different, they've taken 3 days off.
Yeah.
So they haven't seen a fastball in 3 days. That might have a little effect on the eyes. For me, I think they are. You got Corey Kluber on the mound. Even Trevor Bauer starting game one. How confident do you feel not even starting
Their
Corey Kluber
bullpen
game one?
is equal to your bullpen.
There's no doubt, man.
The Yankees got to get this. You don't want to be down 0-1 facing Kluber.
Oh, bro. No
Because,
way.
you know,
No,
basically
sir.
they're trying to save him for 2 and 5. You got to get Bauer. Get Bauer and then take your chances. Because if you can split, yeah, you want both of them. If you can get 2-0 going back home, yeah, fine, end it at home, but you got to split.
If this were best of 7, I would like Cleveland, but at best of 5, I kind of like the Yankee momentum into this.
You think they got a little bit of magic
Yeah.
going right
Yeah.
now? Hey, the boys are feeling good. They look good. They look like they're having fun. They look
are.
like little kids.
Well, Skip, you said you needed Judge to be a superstar. He's off to a
He's
great
off
start.
to a really I agree.
He's doing it.
Yep.
Well, the Yankees do have history on their side. Wild card winners are 5-5 in the subsequent division series. So,
Well, and by the way, like
momentum into it.
half of the last World Series winners have been wild
Yeah,
card
right.
teams. It's all about who gets hot at the right time.
Exactly. So we'll check it out
Catch
tomorrow. ALDS Yankees and Indians, Game 1, 7 Eastern, right here on FS1. Nick, thanks for joining us.
As always,
Good
thank
time.
you guys. Pleasure to see y'all.
No mercy. Next up, the NBA made major changes to the All-Star game yesterday. The league vote getters from each conference will now be the captains of the 2 teams. Last year, LeBron and Steph finished with the most votes. Each captain will choose his team from the pool of All-Stars, but the pool is still made up of 12 players from each conference. Shannon, why did the NBA do this?
They had to, Skip. The talent level is so uneven now. If there's 24 All-Stars, 12 and 12, if you have the East and the West, you go really 20, 22 deep. You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, and you got LeBron. And then you go to the West, and what they've done with Paul George going over there, Carmelo over there now, you got Millsap over there. Skip, you got to do it like this. Can you imagine if you take the 12 best All-Stars from the West, and you played against the East? Skip, that score might be 200 to 115. You got to. You had to do it this way, Skip, because it wouldn't be fair. Now, for me now, I want to see, because I believe LeBron will be the leading vote getter in the East. Probably KD or Steph will be the leading vote getter in the West. I want to see who they're going to pick first. But I know who LeBron won't be picking.
He'll pick Kyrie.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He needs help.
Oh, he got Jeremy Lin. I'm going Jeremy
He
Lin.
needs that running mate.
I'm going Jeremy
He needs
Lin.
that guy riding shotgun.
I'm going Jeremy Lin.
He needs a closer. He needs
Russ.
Kyrie.
Hold on. All these point guards, let's see. Russ will be available. Steph Curry, James Harden, maybe Dame Lillard. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? But Skip, think about it, Skip. You go at least at the bare minimum 20 deep West before you even take LeBron and Antetokounmpo out of the equation, Skip. How many Western guys do you go before you get to, say, a Gordon Hayward or a Kyrie? And that's the tops in the East. How deep you going, Skip?
Boy, Kyrie's really falling off with you, huh?
No, but hold on. You taking him over Russ? Or you taking him over Harden, Steph, KD?
Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
Anthony Davis.
Maybe.
Stop playing, Skip.
I'm
You
not
playing up
playing.
here.
This is a bad man.
You must have been on that hen dog in the mile. You talking about you gonna
Never
take him?
even had a sip. So I got to go back to one point you made before I unleash on this new system that they concocted. You said the score would be 200 to like 15? Is
No,
that what you said?
115.
Oh, 150. I
Yeah.
thought you said 200 to 15.
No, 200 to
Okay,
115.
well, I'll even give you that. So that's a 70, what is that? 85-point win for the West.
Yep.
Wait, I thought the East had the best player on the planet.
Player.
Oh, wait
They
a second.
got players.
But he is your left face already on Mount Rushmore. So he's already over in the one slot on Mount Rushmore.
It all depends on how if you looking face on,
and
it's
he
on
is-
the left. If you face
He is
out.
striving for greatness in his 15th year, and you're already suggesting he's going to be even better in his 15th year than he was in all the other years.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't he alone be able to make this a competitive game.
The same-
You're an 85-point loss.
The same reason Tom Brady can't play defense.
Oh.
Oh,
But
he help.
he literally can't play defense.
Okay.
They just don't do that. LeBron can play defense.
Oh.
It's possible within the rules. LeBron could say, "Oh, they have the ball and we're on this end. Now I can actually, I'll defend somebody."
Okay, so
Tom Brady doesn't go both
So
ways.
let me ask you a question. Is he supposed to defend KD, Steph, Anthony Davis,
It
Russ
doesn't
all at
matter.
once?
Take somebody out. Take KD out. The way he did in, what was it, that pivotal game 4 at Cleveland, when it should have been LeBron's game, right? You're up 4 with a minute 30 left, and KD shot that 3 right in his face.
First of all, this is not your opportunity.
Take him out.
This is not
Take
your
him out.
opportunity to try to
Okay.
bash LeBron James.
No,
We're talking
you're
about
right.
the All-Star
All right,
format.
That was gratuitous.
Yeah, I know what it was.
Now, back to business. I am even more frustrated than ever with this new format.
Why?
Because it is insanely, fatally flawed. Because they didn't change one key element here. They still have 12 All-Stars from the East and 12 from the West.
Yes.
So it's wrong, wrong, wrong. You can't, it's not fixed because you needed to just say, let's take the best 24 players in basketball and we're all good. You'd be good, I'd be good, because then you figure out who are the 24 best, because about 20 of them now reside in the other conference. Okay, so I'm good with that, but this is still a flawed joke. It's still competitive imbalance, even though the captains then get to choose among, but the pool is going to be flawed because it's going to be watered down by 12 players who, about 4 of whom don't belong in the final mix.
8.
Maybe 8 of them.
8 of the East.
Okay, so just think about what's about to happen as we choose an all-star game in this year's Western Conference. 4 of them, I'm pretty sure, are going to come from Golden State because they did last year.
Yes.
Okay, unless Clay falls off, but I don't think they will.
Right.
So there's 4 right there. Russell Westbrook and Carmelo. And what about Paul George? Is he like a fringe all-star? What if 3 come from Oklahoma City? Now we're up to 7 out of 12 just from the West. What if 2 more come from James Harden
And Chris Paul.
and Chris Paul? Wait a second. Oh, now we're up to 9 out of 12. Already, 9 slots are gone. What are you going to do with Kawhi Leonard? Does he belong? I think he belongs. He's the best two-way player in basketball. Am I right? Anthony Davis belongs. How about DeMarcus Cousins, who was in Sacramento and made the All-Star team last year?
Karl Anthony Towns.
He's out. He's out. I can
what
tell
about
you.
Jimmy Butler?
Out.
What?
Well, he's out. There's no way. You're right. They made it last year. How about Paul Millsap? He was an Eastern Conference All-Star.
Yes.
He's out. There's
Dame
no
Lillard.
way. And how about poor Mike Conley Jr., who's never made an All-Star team and is the most underrated player in all of basketball, year after playoff year after playoff year. All he does is torment my Spurs. I just close my eyes because he is really good, and he's never made an All-Star team, and he is out. I can already tell you he's got no shot because his teammate, Marc Gasol, made it last year. Is he going to make it this year? No, he's going to be out. Like you said, Karl Anthony Towns, name somebody else, some of the up-and-comers, they got no shot.
Devin Booker.
It's rigged. It's wrong. And again, I like the subplots of, well, LeBron picked so-and-so. What old feuds are there? Steph.
That's who I want to see.
Okay,
I
that's
wanna
fine.
see who get picked.
But the pool, you got to admit, the pool is flawed.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
That's why they did it like this. Can you, Skip?
You know who we're going to have? We're going to have like Bradley Beal and Miles Turner and Porzingis. He's fine, but is he an all-star? I don't know. I don't know. Really?
Jeremy Lin might make it.
They might. And they're going to be in the pool, and LeBron's going to have to be forced to, I'll take somebody. And then LeBron will do a press conference before the game, and he'll say, I don't have enough help.
Stop,
I don't have
Skip.
enough help.
That's your opportunity.
I got Jeremy Lin. I don't have enough help.
Don't worry about it. But we're going to also, like I said, there's no question in my mind, LeBron will be the leading vote getter at the East. And it's going to be Steph or KD in the West. Okay. I'm anxious to see who LeBron's going to pick.
You want to see who he's not going to pick?
You already know who he ain't going to pick.
Who?
Don't worry about it. Go up there to the green.
It would be funny if
Mr.
Kyrie's
Earth is
like left on the table, and you get down to like
Last
the
guy.
9th or 10th pick, and it's like, and LeBron says, no, I'll take Jeremy Lin.
Yeah, I love it.
Right?
You don't want to be the
I'll take Jeremy
You don't
Lin.
want to be the guy, the last guy get picked.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, you want to run? No, I'm good.
No.
Joy, you run it? All right, man. All right, I got Joy. That's like I don't do Kyrie, because everybody know LeBron's side going to win.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why haven't they been winning? The East has lost 6 of the last 7 All-Star games with the best player on the planet. How is that possible?
One.
Oh, come on. One man can change life in pro basketball.
So
you know it.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing
Wait,
this
isn't he
correctly.
the greatest ever?
Yeah, he's getting there.
Oh, he's getting there.
Let me ask you a question. In Michael Jordan, 16 years, I think he made the All-Star game 12, 13 times. Did he win all of them?
I don't know. I'd have to
No, you know.
I'd have to check with Steve Owens.
Did he win all the NBA All-Star games? Yes or no?
I doubt it, but I didn't check.
Why would he not? He was the best player in the world.
He took it easy on people.
No, he didn't.
He didn't take
Michael
these
Jordan-
games very seriously.
Michael Jordan
he took
took
the
everything
dunk
serious.
contest seriously because he did what? 3? Did he do 3 dunk? I know he did 2, and LeBron James did 0.
Hold on.
0 dunk contest. So Michael focused on the dunk contest, and LeBron focused on I don't know what he focused on.
Do you remember in that All-Star game in Atlanta when he was with the Wizards and they was trying to get him the MVP? Oh yeah, he was trying. Hell, he was trying to win it.
Well, they never took it very seriously.
Yeah, they did.
Each year they would just say, "Okay, we're in Seattle. Let's make Tom Chambers the MVP of the All-Star game." Remember that? That's before your
LeBron
time.
don't care where it's at. If he wanted it, he can go get it.
Well,
On the
there
moon.
you go. Well, now
Play it
you're-
on the moon.
Now you're arguing the other side of the argument, right? You're on my side.
No, I'm not. But
What does it matter then?
the talent pool is so much deeper in the West.
You can only play 5 at once.
But you could take, look here, being realistic, Skip, if you took, let's just say the top 10 player from the West couldn't make the All-Star, you could take the next 10 and they would give the East, the best the East has to offer, give them all they can handle.
Probably you could.
Yeah.
But you can still only play 5 at once. And LeBron's an Iron Man, right?
But
he played the most minutes in the league
And
last
what happened? And when he was on the court, everything went well. It was when he went off the court. So you playing 5 on 5.
So if LeBron in an All-Star game, hypothetically, played 48
Stop
minutes.
playing, Skip.
Well, seriously.
Do what? You know, so you gonna cause me to get on that hen dog early in the morning.
Really?
I normally don't do it, but at night when I'm at home, so I can just go in, hit me a few of that warm hen, and go to sleep. Put you to sleep, boy.
I thought you were like a fitness freak.
I am.
I don't know. I think that's all hocus
You make it seem like I'm dragging the dog and going to work out.
I think
take
you
a
drink
nap.
it before the show, given some of your arguments on
I'm
that.
not even going to do it. I'm not even going to expose you. Just go ahead.
Joy.
Just go ahead.
You know what, Skip? Joy be hating on me because my brand's starting to blow up with that dog in the miles. She like that wine color. I got the grapes now. I like the grapes.
are.
But I'm going to get a Cohiba for you on
You got
Monday.
a new brand, the Crazy Uncle brand, right?
Hey, you going to have a crazy uncle brand with
I have
Aaron
a
Rodgers.
crazy uncle. He's you.
When Aaron Rodgers lights y'all up for 500 on Sunday.
I agree.
I have enough
I
crazy
agree.
uncles. I don't need another one.
I ain't crazy. I might show up with a wife beater, though. A wife beater, deck of cards.
Just eccentric.
Yeah, exactly. The West has won 12 of the last 18 All-Star games. We are getting distracted by the pettiness of it. We love the idea of who's going to end up getting picked last
Yes.
and stuff, but it would still be better.
I know who's not going to pick
have all the
LeBron.
best players. You don't know nothing.
Yeah, I know who's not going to get picked by
You
Bron.
know LeBron has to be friends with everybody.
No, he don't. No, he don't. He wanted to get away. You know what I'm saying? He wanted to be his own man. Well, be your own man being the 12th guy picked. Playing for another team because you ain't playing on our squad. We don't want you in our locker room.
We.
And don't look at me either sideways because I might do something to you.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. We're back at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.